Hello 41st, and welcome to a bit of a devlog as to how things are going from my side of development. First of all, I'm going to be covering the weapons back here, and some map techniques that you may see used here. First of all, discuss these three weapons here. If I grab the carbine first. This is, of course, the basic weapon. You'll notice mine look a fair bit different from Kelly's. Just by the muzzle flash there, and if I can somehow get the particle in frame, you can see that is a fair bit smaller as well. That is because I'm using my some custom particles for these, which I believe look better, though feedback would be nice on that. The D15S, it just takes the statistics that Kylie's been using for a while, fires as fast as you can pull the trigger, and 15 damage. And then there is, of course, 15A. This, again, same stats that Kelly uses. I believe this one fires a bit faster, though. And there's another thing as well. It's especially noticeable on this because of the model difference there. You can see the sticks poking up. These have little ring sights on them. So you can see there is a front ring here and a dot at the front to help with aiming. Well, on the 15A, it's not entirely accurate because see how tall this thing is? But it is fairly accurate. Lots of particles longer in this one as well, and larger. Still barely the same though, because Skybox. And then there's the fun one. This is the first thing I added, which basically inspired me to do half of this. The Z6. And this is the only weapon out of these three here that have reloads. This does 15 damage, and also fires a lot slower than the regular Z6, which I have done to make there be a viable difference between you choosing this and the chain gun. Very large muzzle flash as well, which I quite like. Another thing as well that all of these weapons here have is they have vibrations on the controllers now, which I'm surprised is not in the prefab by default. Alright, so let's discuss these two here. Now, these two are special weapons. They're technically the same, so I'll just use this one as an example. These are planned to be used in future events that are more narrative style. For example, these two are being planned to be used in a First Battle of Geonosis campaign, which is why they're the same, and there'll only ever be like 2 of the D15S being used by officers. Because yes, they did appear in the Battle of Geonosis for like 1 frame. And these also have another difference, which is they have a small light attached to the muzzle flash. If I can somehow find a surface that will reflect this. There you go, you might be able to see that on the bottom of the screen being reflected on the floor there. I'm yet to see what this does performance-wise, which is why I'll be making a small testing map to see how exactly these perform compared to Kelly's maps. So, second of all, is the world improvements. First of all, might as well discuss reflection props, which you can probably see here. There. You can probably see that surface is very shiny and reflecting a surface over there in a very low resolution. Again, this is something I'll let you do to just see how these work, because I am not entirely sure how reflection probes do work. And second of all is occlusion culling. You may not know what occlusion culling is. Occlusion culling is basically where you go behind a surface and it will hide something. For example, I'm now behind the silver wall here, and it will hide this over here. I wonder if the camera reflects this. No, it doesn't. Okay, so I'll probably have to add some Unity editor there then, to show how exactly that works. Which means you'll see in the top right of your screen, when I go behind that wall over there, you'll see less polygons, and potentially higher frames. And with these two map techniques, reflection probes especially do decrease performance. Especially on Quest, so I'll have to do some pretty significant optimizing there. Again, that's why I'm making a testing map. Occlusion culling as well also has a pretty, well, not pretty negative effect, but it can have negative effects on performance in general, because it always has to be loaded in memory. And I believe that's it for this quick devlog. See ya probably at the event today.